Oh my gosh, it took this long for me to get my phone working. It is so horrible in here. And do you know why? Because it's about 20 to 5 in the morning. She's definitely been up in the attic in here. But look how fucking hazy it is. And even when I focus it, it's just awful in here. Horrible. And a vehicle just pulled up about 40 minutes ago. A truck came up the path. I'm pretty sure she came down from there at some point. I thought I heard her. Oh, it's just awful in here. It's horrible for the dogs. They're going to feel really bad tomorrow. Really awful. Really sick. Without a doubt, every single one of these people in these rooms is waiting to participate in this. There's just no way they'd have people in this close proximity and not do that. It's getting cold in the room. But yeah, I drink lots of coffee. So I sensed the gang rape on the horizon. So yeah, anybody interested in helping? If you have hacking skills, if you're a hacker, please, by all means, hack into the animal, where am I now? Best Friends Animal Sanctuary web whatever, and find out who booked those rooms and how they were paid for them and if they're volunteering and blah, blah, blah. And you can look up those license plate numbers if you'd like to. Yeah. Well, can I say 100% certainty? No, but can you imagine you see the close proximity to these rooms? Can you imagine that they were planning on gang raping in here and that there would be people that close by that wouldn't know? You think they'd take that kind of a risk? So please, by all means, hackers, there's got to be hackers out there that actually want to do good stuff, right? That have those capabilities, that don't only want to work for drug traffickers and sex traffickers and horrible people, right? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are people that have computer capabilities, just like, unlike Jeffrey Kuhn, who's a physicist who wanted to use his capabilities of knowledge of physicism. I'm really drugged right now. Like, look at my eyes. Look at my fucking eyes. They're just, coated. Coated. Yeah. As soon as I yawned, they were like, kicked on the refrigerator, kicked on the thing, like all in sequence. Because they were like, we got her, we got her, we got her. It is easier with the lights, with it dark outside. It is always going to be true in life that darkness, which is rapists, child rapists, people who want to rape unconscious women, people who want to torture unconscious women, which I'm pretty sure one of the people in this cabin planned on participating in actually torturing me. He probably has a background in doing this to somebody maybe in the U.S. military. I don't know. Because I bet you anything there's guys that did that for the U.S. military that came back and wanted to do it to other people. So, but I've been taunting them for like the past, I don't know how long, to try to come in here when I'm awake. This is where it gets all confusing. It's like, if they have it that well, that locked up, it's a town of 4,000 people. That's what I was told. Which actually doesn't even look like that many people. But if you have it so tight where you can, expect to come in and just gang rape and sodomize and torture a human being in a animal sanctuary after gassing the living shit
out of 2 dogs on the grounds of a place that saves animals from exactly this type of behavior. Exactly these type of people. If you have that kind of cojones, then you would think that you'd be confident in being able to just come walk in the door right now and attack me and let the screaming happen and the dogs freaking out and, and you could have it all locked up, like attack me, rape me, kill me or don't kill me and then make me disappear and then have, and you'd have it that locked up that you could do that and you could all get away with it. That they wouldn't question who stayed in those rooms, that no one would question anything. That they could make up, that's why they press so hard with the story that I'm crazy and everything, because then if anything ever, like if they ever fuck up, then they can always just rely on that story, like Adria Cooper was a fuck up, that's why she kept going, oh, she's crazy. It's like, fuck bitch, I didn't even fucking know you. And like the only thing I ever said to you is I want these people to, I want justice, and I'm going to push for it. And she just turned it around and made all these lies up to create that story. She's so much like Detective Briscoe at the Van Nuys Police Department in Los Angeles, California. But if you have it so locked up, I mean, can't you get the sheriff's department and the police department of Kanab, Utah to just push it under the rug? To just, you can just come in here, rape me, not even have to deal with a body. You can just do all the things that you want to do, and you can leave it all, the marks all over my body, because I'd fight, and then there would be bruises, and, you'd have a choice, either kill me, and then disappear me, and figure all that out, or just, just have me go to the hospital, and they all say, when I'm like, I have a broken arm, see, look, it's dangling in the other direction, they can all be like, nope, that's not true. That's not true, it's not broken. Or they can do that, or they can say, no, look, even though your arm's like they did the other night when I said, please x-ray this finger that has clearly a huge lump coming off the side of it. I mean, I can see that. Can't you see that? Can't you see that lump? And that's developed, and I've been able to keep track of it and document it. And I asked to have that x-rayed, and they were like, oh no, nothing's wrong with the x-ray. I'm like, that's interesting, because I can literally see it with my plain eyeball. Like, I actually don't have to x-ray it to see it. And you're telling me that on the x-ray, there's nothing? Even though I can actually see it with my own eyeball, like I can look at it right now. Look, and I can see it sticking out there. So don't you have it like that? I mean, don't they have it that well? That's what I've been taunting them for like the past hour. Miho's convulsing. Don't you have it here in Kanab, Utah? Do you have the sheriffs in your pocket? Do you have the people at the hospital in your pocket? Do you not have enough of them in your pocket to do this? Oh, he's even got his hacks up. Whoa, that was a huge convulsing. Look at all this. Because, I mean, they're literally just flooding the room right now. Wow, that's really good evidence right there. Look at that. Just convulsing, convulsing, convulsing. He's got his full hacks up. But he's so drugged right now, I can't even, like he's probably dreaming, but he's super drugged too.
So his central nervous system is just freaking the fuck out. Because, I mean, it is really potent in here. They're getting frustrated, they're getting irritated. She has rapists lined up. I mean, who knows? That guy. Some of these people in the cabins probably drove all the way to get here so they could rape me. You know, maybe they drove from another town, you know, and now they may not get to do that tonight. They'll probably try to stay and do it tomorrow night. Or tonight it would be, since it's 5 o'clock in the morning already. That's some pretty intense neurological shit going on for a dog dream. That's some pretty intense shit. Interesting how they kicked on the heater. Kicked on the heater for a quick burst of it. Took me a while to be able to get my fucking camera going again. I couldn't fucking get it to work for like 3 hours. 3 hours and I couldn't get it to work. So anyways, I was saying how this stuff is so much better to do in darkness, right? I mean, it really is true. Like some of the things we talk about in movies and you know, everything's always like darkness, the evil stuff. It's true. Because once it becomes light outside, there's a higher percentage of them not getting away with it, of them getting caught, of someone driving up here that's not supposed to. They can't control everything, and everything can't be like right now. There have been people out there, you know, pelting shit out there. I could hear her talking to somebody, probably one of the people in the rooms over here. You know, you just can't get away with as much stuff. There's just not, there's a little bit more risk involved, you know, there just is. There's more risk. There's not an easier way to keep everything so tidy, you know, because there's the unpredictable. There's someone that just happens to be like driving by and is like, oh my god, the best friend's animal sanctuary. Oh hey, look, it's cabins. Let's go look at their cabins. You know, somebody that decided that they were going to maybe stay here, and you know, someone that they don't know, not a rapist, not a man with a little silver box of weird shit, most likely torture shit, that is that didn't even want to look my way, that's probably coming in here to rape and torture my vagina. So they don't like that. So they're getting frustrated. Plus they've stayed up all night and waited and waited and waited. And, you know, a rapist gets frustrated, and, you know, they are rapists, you know. So they feel like they get to do whatever they want. That I'm just a piece of shit, you know. But I just, fingers crossed, I've started to hope that I have HIV, because since they block all the test results to say if I have a disease or not, which they did in Hawaii very succinctly, because I was being drugged really hardcore over there, like breaking out in a sweat every half an hour for 2 months. And as soon as I went to the doctor over it, I'm sure they were like, fingers crossed, like, you know, he's just gonna think she's crazy. The problem was is I broke out in a sweat right there in his office, in this freezing cold doctor's office, as I'm sitting there telling him about it, and he's looking at me kind of like, oh god, she's nuts. And then all of a sudden I got very flush and just drenched in sweat. Not completely drenched, because it was cold in there, not like it, you know, because it is Hawaii, not like I would sitting in my living room where I was literally like my clothes drenched, and every half an hour, 24/7. And the moment that I went to the doctor about it, and he, because it was done right in front of him, he decided to send me home with a big jug to collect my urine. As soon as he decided to do that, which of course I knew that I wouldn't be able to keep the jug of urine safe unless I could stay up all night, which I should have tried to do, because I think I had to do it for 48 hours. I think I had to piss in the thing for 48 hours or 24 hours.
And I remember thinking I really should try not to go to sleep right now so I can make sure that this is my urine when I drop it off. But the fact of the matter is that as soon as I dropped it off, they had somebody there that was going to make sure that that wasn't going to be my urine in the end. Well, now Vita's just convulsing. Anybody find that strange that both of the dogs are doing it at the exact same time? But yeah, so they just took that urine. Because they were definitely drugging me super hardcore, especially when they were raping me and not using a condom. And she put me on birth control for a little while there. And I knew that because my breasts got really big. And nothing else was getting big. And that's never happened to me in the 46 years I had been on the planet. Ever. In fact, I remember talking to this girl in acting class, and she was like, you should get on this birth control, your boobs will get bigger. And that's what I did. And she was a really tiny girl, and I was like, yeah, I smoke though. And she's like, oh, what's more better, bigger boobs or cigarettes? And I'm like, cigarettes. like, who gives a fuck? I think that actually the conversation got started by me saying that I was happy because the good thing about me gaining weight was that my boobs had gotten bigger. And she was like, no, you don't have to gain weight to make your boobs bigger. Look at that, you make your boobs bigger. Anyhow, so I knew at some point that they put me on birth control in order to prevent me from getting pregnant, even though how likely was that going to happen? Anyways, I'm so old, but they wanted to knock out that possibility and then still allow men to rape me without condoms. I guess not thinking about the disease thing either, though. But then when I was like, you can drug test my hair, I'm sure they were concerned that I bet you anything that birth control would show up on on like a hair test if you were to test for it, you know. So she decided to start burning my uterus. And that was really, she really enjoyed doing that. It was extremely painful for me. She still does it. And then, because in the couple days, in the last 2 years, I'd get a couple days here and there away from her. And if I got more than one or two I'd say 2 in a row, which is really rare for me to be able to do, then I'd get my period right away. And when I was back, my OB did extensive testing because she's very methodical, and I think it was very curious to her why I wasn't getting my period, because they tested me for menopause and I didn't have it. I wasn't premenopausal, I wasn't menopausal, which apparently you can test for. And so she was searching for the reason why I was not having my period, you know. I knew why, because first they had me on birth control, and then she started burning my uterus on the inside of my uterus. And I think that for her, it's just this thing of she's able to torture me and stuff, but it's hidden, you know, because once I started taking pictures of all the bruises and showing them to the police and the cuts, you know, she started making the cuts smaller, even though this one wasn't small enough. It was pretty big, actually. And she's fucked up this finger pretty hardcore. There's the cut that she put on there. She got a little too anxious with these, too carried away. She's been trying to stay a little bit smaller, which is what she did on this one right here. It was much smaller than this one. Oh, I think I hear a vehicle. Oh, me, so sorry. Sorry, babe. I know. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. No. I know, baby. I know. I know. I know, sweetie. I know. Poor thing. Poor Vito. They're killing Vita. I know they are. I can tell. Anyhow, um, so yeah, so she started burning. And I know that because I had a burn this big along the side of the outside of my vagina. But mostly it was just that, like I've been saying, that you have, like, you know something is happening without actually, because you know. And it's my fucking body and the amount of extreme, excruciating pain. And that's why she started using the numbing stuff too. The excruciating fucking pain that I was having. But yet I go to my OB, who I trust implicitly, and she'd say, I don't really see that much, like a little bit of irritation on the cervix, because it was all up, hidden away. So she could do all this stuff, because then all of a sudden she couldn't do the bending my foot with Jessica Tran, my neighbor down the street, who's super Looney Tunes, who then they hid on the neighbor islands once I gave her name to the police, the local police. And they actually said they thought that the syndicate was hiding her because she's crazy and she wouldn't have been able to have a conversation with the police without spilling her shit. And then she showed back up like literally 6 to 8 months later, maybe even a year, with her head shaved. And I think that's because she's cuckoo and she was probably afraid in her cuckoo head that her DNA was in my house and that the police would take her hair and test the DNA. I bet you anything that's what happened. Cuckoo bird thinking then that, you know, they wouldn't be able to get the DNA any other way. Poor girl. Poor girl. See, I take them outside, and I've thought about it numerous times, except for it's freezing cold outside. And this stuff makes you hypothermic, which lowers your body temperature. And then once I put them outside in the freezing cold, it's just not good. So they get fresh air, but if I can get them into a place that's warm, then that's much better. Much, much better. Anyhow, yeah, I should cut this because it's getting long. But cabins full of rapists, heard her talking, heard her scurrying around up in there using the different areas that she can. Yeah, they go in through, like, I don't know. Oh, sweetie. Baby girl. It makes all the sores hurt even more. I know that. It makes all the aching hurt even more. It does, undoubtedly does that for them too, you know? Hey, baby. Yeah. What if the rapist decided they're going to take a nap now that they've waited? Oh, sweetie. They've waited hours and hours and hours to do some raping and sodomy and torture. I bet it surprises them sometimes how good a guess I have. Like at the guy that's staying in the one cabin, that he's a torturer. He wouldn't even look at me. Not just not make eye contact, not just not say hello. And this is a very small little setup here. And the average human being is going to say hello because the average human being, if they're going to share this kind of intimate space, is going to want to have some sort of interaction. Hi, baby. Hi. They just are. They're going to want to establish a connection. That would be normal human behavior. He didn't even want to look at me. And he wouldn't look at me. He wouldn't even raise his head to acknowledge I was standing there. I was out there later with his dog. Same thing. Didn't acknowledge me at all. It's just odd. Because most people who are going to stay at the Best Friends Animal Sanctuary are going to have an interest in animal care, concern, rescue. You know, it's not just going to be, oh, I can stay somewhere because I can have my dog. Trust me on the fact that I've been staying in hotels for 3 months now. You can pretty much have a dog at almost every hotel. So you don't need to stay at the animal Best Friends shit. So, and most of these people are going to be usually going to be people who volunteer, and so they can pay less or get free. I'm not really sure. Again, they're just going to be nicer people than what I saw. So, see how I put all those things together, and I deduct that he not only is a rapist, because the rapists want to say hi. They do. They want to say hi because it's fascinating to them. Especially the older ones. It's like they want to have some sort of connection, you know? Because like there's the benefit that I'm unconscious, that then they can kind of like whip my legs around and, you know, do whatever they want and do it as hard as they want and as mean as they want and get as vicious as they want. But I do think that there's a lot of rapists that need a connection. I do. I think I learned that sort of from cheaters. Is that men don't cheat on their wives or girlfriends or whatever because the other person's more attractive, or it's how the whole situation makes them feel. That's all it's about. And I guarantee that there's rapists, that this woman who's crawling around in there right now, I don't know if you heard the creaking up there, that she's giving me to, that are yearning for that connection, you know, to have. So they have the benefit of the you know, flaccid body that can be, you know, and that they can inflict pain and stuff, and there's no fight back, there's no resistance. But then there's also like just nothing. There's no connection at all. No connection with fear, no connection with feeling powerful over someone that's afraid. They don't get that. They don't get they don't get that. And there's ones that she's having rape me that miss that. There's people that are like this, that are enjoying this, like the guy on Coy Drive, the one that 2 houses down from Beverly Glen. I think that's Beverly Glen. Him that loved the complete dead woman thing. But then there's guys who they're missing that connection. You know, maybe seeing my eyes open, maybe me moving my limbs on my own, maybe me even fighting back, maybe my body resisting it. You know, they're missing that manipulation of trying to get me into the position of being raped. Because there's much more to rape, and rape's going to be different for every single person. So you know what this crack whore that's crawling around there right now is missing? She'd like to just dismember me. Like break every bone in my body and shove fucking knives and guns up into my vagina and pull the trigger. Because she's total shit for brains crazy. Like, but she has to be reined in by them. Because then you don't have the toy to play with. See, she's a child like that. She would break me day one and then have no more toy to play with. That's her. That's who's in the attic. Crack whore. Crack whore, you want to say hi? Crack whore, you want to say hi to the people on camera? You want to? No. You heard her, right? Twice. The creaking. That's her. There's a tin roof on there. The only way that creaking is happening is that there's someone in there. Because if there was somebody on top of it, a bird, an animal, it would be much louder than that. Because it's tin. It's metal, whatever it is, metal. You wouldn't hear that creaking without hearing something else. That's something in between the roof and the ceiling.